This is Jed Disler, and I welcome you to The Piano Maven, your friendly podcast guide to piano recordings. We talked about Murray Pariah last time and his fantastic recording of the Beethoven Piano Sonata No. 29, the mighty Hammerklavier. And Murray Pariah, of course, was a close friend and colleague of the great pianist Radu Lupu, who we lost in 2022. Radu Lupu was one of the most acclaimed pianists of his generation. He was known for his poetic temperament and his technical refinement, as well as his absolutely luminous, rounded, and full-bodied sonority. This was a sonority that could reach out to the furthest regions of any concert hall without ever losing definition. I heard Radu Lupu many times in concert. I actually invited him to sit with me for a drink when I was listening to the great jazz pianist Dado Moroni playing in a hotel bar in Luzerne. This was right after Radu Lupu had played this gorgeous all-Schumann recital at the Lucerne Piano Festival, and I had the audacity and nerve to grab Radu Lupu in the hotel lobby right outside the bar. And he must have been intrigued because he came in and he joined me for a drink, and he really liked Dado Moroni. He left after a little while, but I'm very proud that I was able to do that. Radu Lupu did not make many commercial recordings, and in fact, by the mid-1990s, he made the decision never to record in the studio again, although he did continue to give concerts. So it's been up to the Do-Re-Mi label in Canada to help fill in the gaps, so to speak. And they have been issuing a series of volumes. Each one is a double album, I believe. And these releases consist of archival material with Radu Lupu. They are broadcasts from radio transmissions and live concerts, and they often include repertoire that Radu Lupu otherwise did not record. The most recent release that I received for review was Volume 6 in this series, and I've posted a link to my review of this release that appeared on classicstoday.com. The main feature of this release is a broadcast recital from Tokyo that took place on October 16th, 1987, and it features music of Mozart and Chopin. It includes 3 Mozart solo works that Radu Lupu did not record commercially: the C major Sonata Koelschel 330, the A minor Sonata Koelschel 310, and the A minor Rondo Koelschel 511. One could say that the performance of the rondo is highly rhetorical and really bordering on the romantic. It's almost Brahmsian in its way. The 2 sonatas have outer movements that are played with a lot of attention to detail, yet there's a kind of classical reserve about them. I find the Chopin selections actually more interesting, and it's not just because Radu Lupu did not otherwise record any of Chopin's music, so far as I know. His performance on this recital of Chopin's Sonata in B minor, the Sonata No. 3, I think is pretty remarkable for its tonal imagination and the pianist's constant attentiveness to what is going on in the left handwriting. The Largo movement, for me, receives one of the best performances I know on record. It never drags or wilts on the vine. It moves forward at an ideal pace, and it really sings out. The Opus 27 nocturnes are less consistent. I find that the D-flat nocturne, Opus 27 No. 2, in the hands of Radu Lupu, sometimes seems a little hectic or impatient when the pianist approaches climaxes. But the opposite is true in his C-sharp minor nocturne, Opus 27 No. 1, where Lupu tends to hold back a bit at the big central climax. I wish he didn't. There's also a performance in this collection from 1967 when Lupu was all of 22 years old. It's the Prelude and Fugue in B-flat minor from Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier Book 1. And this is pure, unadulterated, romantic Bach that seems to follow the playbook of such Russian Bach piano interpreters like Samuel Feinberg or, I guess at times, Maria Udina. And there's liberal use of the pedal. And this is not the kind of Bach pianism we are used to hearing these days from people like Andras Schiff or Angela Hewitt. But, give the young Radu Lupu a break. He was still relatively a kid, I should also mention that there are 2 Mozart concertos in this collection, the A major Kochel 414 and the C major Kochel 467. The C major is the famous Elvira Madigan concerto because the slow movement was prominently featured in the soundtrack of the Swedish film Elvira Madigan. I've never seen that film, by the way. Anyway, Radu Lupu recorded these 2 concertos in the studio in 1974 with Yuri Siegel conducting the English Chamber Orchestra, and those are excellent performances. But these live versions with Gary Bertini conducting date from a few years later, and they feature some German radio orchestras. I like these performances better than the Decca recordings because, first of all, Radu Lupu seems to be a little more dynamic and spontaneous. And also, Gary Bertini gets his musicians to play with more force and presence, and he gives the important woodwind writing more prominence than in the Yuri Siegel interpretations. So if you are a fan of Radu Lupu, and if you are a piano maven, I can't imagine you not being a fan of Radu Lupu. You certainly will want to check out Volume 6 in the Do-Re-Mi label's Radu Lupu Live series. This is Jed Disler, and you've been listening to The Piano Maven, your friendly podcast guide to piano recordings. And I look forward to being with you for the next episode. Take good care.